Hi, my name is Sergio Vidal, and you're watching the Portuguese Kitchen. On this episode, we're going to be making a cake for my birthday. Today is my birthday. The cake we're making is today's Leches, which is a Latin cake. This cake consists of 3 different types of milk. You're going to need sweetened condensed milk. You're going to want to get 2 cans of sweetened condensed milk, 1 can of evaporated milk, and heavy whipping cream. I will show you guys how to use these materials later. Also, a can of pineapple slices, which we will use later on. 2 cups all-purpose flour, 2 cups granulated sugar, 3/4 cups whole milk, 2% milk, 6 large eggs. Make sure you have them out at least an hour prior. Make sure they're at room temperature. You want to separate the egg yolks from the whites, and you're going to beat those whites separately. 1½ teaspoons of vanilla extract and 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Okay, so I have a 9½ inch springform nonstick baking pan already set aside over here. I went and lightly greased it with some butter and flour so that our today's Leches cake ain't going to stick to the baking pan. You could use a 13×9 pan, but I would recommend a 9½ or no more than 10 inches for this recipe, since we are going to slice the cake in half and add our pineapples inside of the cake, which I will show you guys that real soon. We want to preheat the oven to 350 degrees. And we're going to start with beating our egg whites. And you want to beat the egg whites till they form soft peaks. You don't want hard peaks, they need to be soft peaks. Beat them at medium speed until they start to form soft peaks. This process will take some time, so just keep beating them until they start to foam up. Once they foam up, you'll start to see them slowly begin to stiffen and start forming your soft peaks. Okay, I've been beating the egg whites for a few minutes now, and as you guys could see, it is nice and fluffy. It formed the soft peaks that we're looking for. You don't want it any stiffer than soft peaks. You don't want hard peaks, so this is the consistency we're going to keep it at. Next up, you're going to start slowly adding the 2 cups of granulated sugar, so I'll go ahead and begin with that process. Back at medium speed, and just slowly start sifting in the granulated sugar into the egg white mixture. Alright, now I have the egg white and sugar mixture over here. I'm going to pour it in really quick into my mixing bowl. And we want to try to do this as quickly as possible because we don't want the cake to lose volume. We don't want the egg white to lose volume either. So we're quickly going to transfer as much of that out of here. Next up, we're going to add the 6 egg yolks into the egg white and sugar mixture, one at a time, again at medium speed, until you have all of the egg yolks inside. Okay, now that I have the 6 egg yolks incorporated into the egg white and sugar mixture, next step is to start adding the 2 cups of whole-purpose flour, all-purpose flour, and we also want to incorporate the 2 teaspoons of baking powder with the flour. Just going to give that a mix around real quick so that it is all sifted in together with the flour. Alright, that should be good enough right there. Now that I have the 2 cups of all-purpose flour and 2 teaspoons of baking powder combined together, we're going to slowly add it into the batter as we continue to beat it at medium speed. Alright, now we're going to add the 3/4 cup of whole milk into the batter, again at medium speed. And go ahead, after you add the 2% of milk, we're also going to add the 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla extract, and now beat at medium speed. Alright, I have the batter all mixed up together. I'm going to add it into my 9.5-inch non-stick baking pan that I already went ahead and lightly greased with butter and some flour so that our Tres Leches cake does not stick to our pan. Even though it's non-stick, you still want to do that. This is one of my favorite desserts. This is a very delicious cake. I'm sure you guys are going to love it. Alright. And we're going to place it into our heated 350-degree oven. You want it at medium-low rack, right in the center. And we're going to bake the Tres Leches cake for about 35 to 40 minutes. Go ahead and check it with a toothpick by stabbing it in the middle of the cake. If it comes out clean in 35 minutes, then your cake is ready. Go ahead and pull it out. If not, leave it in there for an additional 5 minutes. Stab the toothpick back in. Make sure it comes out clean and dry. Once it's ready, I'll go ahead and start with the next step. Alright, now that the cake is in the oven baking at 350 degrees, I put a small pot over here with boiling hot water, and we're going to take one of the sweetened condensed milk cans. Do not open the can, just simply place the entire can inside of the boiling water in your small pot. and make sure that there is enough water in there where it is surfacing a little bit over the can. And you're going to cover this with a lid and just let it boil for about an hour about an hour and a half, I'm going to say. And this is going to make the sweetened condensed milk into a caramel consistency, which is going to be very delicious, makes the flavor great, and it makes the consistency of the sweetened condensed milk more caramel-like. We're going to use this delicious caramel for the interior of the cake, and we're also going to use it as a topping for the decor for the exterior of the cake. And I will show you that process once the cake is baked, and I'll get right back to you guys. Alright, our delicious cake has been baking for about 40 minutes, and I'm going to pull it out of the oven. That looks real nice. And this is going to be my birthday cake, like I said. We are going to remove this. I'm probably going to let it stand for about 2 or 3 minutes here first and let that cool just for a little bit. And we will remove this immediately and place it on a plate and just let that cool off for about 30, 35, 40 minutes. Let it get down to room temperature, and then we'll start the decorating process. So I'll get right back to you guys. Okay, I've had today's Leches cake removed out of my baking pan, and I placed it on this glass plate to let it cool off for about 35 to 40 minutes. It is now at room temperature. While that remains cooling off, we're going to begin with the next step, which would be combining the sweetened condensed milk with your evaporated milk and the heavy whipping cream. So you're going to use 1 cup of the heavy whipping cream. And over here, I got a 16 fluid ounce, 1 pint thing of heavy whipping cream. So we are going to place all of those ingredients into a mixing bowl, and I'm just going to use my electric whisk to get that all mixed up together for you. And I'll go ahead and start opening up these cans with my electric can opener, pour that in, and we'll go from there. Alright, so after opening your can of sweetened condensed milk and a can of evaporated milk, go ahead and pour that into your mixing bowl, starting off with a can of sweetened condensed milk first. And we're going to try to get every last bit of that. Okay. Now we will add the can. This is a 12 fluid ounce can of evaporated milk, by the way. Add the entire can. And the 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. I'm going to save just a little bit of that cream, because you could dump that back into the can of condensed milk. And just do that. A nice spin, try to collect more of that good sweetness. And just pour that right in there. Now I'm going to use the electric whisk to just blend this up. Only takes about a minute, get everything mixed up together. The milk mixture is mixed up. Next up would just be to take a fork, and you're just going to start stabbing holes on top of your delicious cake and just create these holes all around the cake, all towards the middle of the cake. Create as many as possible. And once you're done with that, we're going to pour the milk mixture over the cake. I'll come back on the next clip to show you that part. Alright, I've stopped several holes with the fork over the delicious cake. You're just going to take your 3 milk mixture and just start pouring it over the cake. And what this is going to do, basically, the cake is going to soak all of this delicious sweet mixture of milk. And once it soaks it all up, this cake is going to be ultra moist in the inside, and it is going to be very delicious. I'll go ahead and continue with this process. You may need to tilt the tray over a couple of times just to get the axis out, and then just go ahead and repeat. Keep pouring over the mixture until you have the cake completely soaked in. And we'll go ahead and complete that, and we'll come right back. All right, now that we have the Leches cake soaking in the 3 milk mixture, go ahead and place your Leches cake in the refrigerator, and we're going to refrigerate this for about 4 hours, or you could refrigerate it overnight. If you do refrigerate it overnight, it will collect more of the milk mixture better. But I'm going to refrigerate mine up to 4 hours. Afterwards, we'll continue with the next step, which will be to slice the cake in half, and we're going to add the pineapple slices inside of the cake and more toppings. So we'll go from there on the next step. All right, our delicious cake has been cooling in the refrigerator for 5 hours, and I went ahead and removed it. And we are going to start by filleting the cake right down the middle. I also have some other ingredients over here that we're going to include inside of our delicious cake. Some sweetened coconut, the can of condensed milk that we went ahead and had boiling in the hot water for an hour and a half that already got caramelized, and the pineapple slices. So we're going to begin. You want to get to the middle of the cake as possible and just slowly start taking the knife. You're probably going to want to rotate your pan a little. And we're going to stuff this cake in the inside with the pineapples, the caramelized condensed milk, and the coconut. All right, now that we have our 2 cake pieces, we're going to start using the bottom piece. The top piece we're just going to layer over once we get all of our ingredients into the bottom piece. You're going to start with the sweetened caramelized condensed milk and just spread it all over the bottom of your cake. That looks so delicious. Cannot wait to try this cake. So I'll go ahead and just finish this process up real quick, and then I'll get back to you guys. All right, now that we have the condensed milk caramel spread over the first bottom layer of the cake, you do want to leave about half of the caramel, so you could use that as a decor topping for the top of the cake. So I'll only use about half for the interior. Now we're going to take our pineapple slices and just add them all around the cake, like so. Add one in the middle. You could use a little bit of the pineapple juice just to give it a little bit of that flavor. Not too much, just a little. Okay. And then we're just going to drizzle some of the sweetened coconut right over. I'll go ahead and complete this step, and I'll get right back to you guys. All right, went ahead and sprinkled the sweetened coconut over the pineapple slices. You do want to save a little bit of the coconut because we're going to also use this as a decor for the topping of the cake. Go ahead and grab your top layer of the cake as gently as possible. Remember, the cake is very moist. I do not want to break it. Oh boy. Try to get this without breaking, and plop, there we go. So now we're just going to decorate the top of the cake with some more of the caramelized condensed milk. And we're going to spread out all over the top of the cake. I'll go ahead and complete this, and I'll get right back with you guys. All right, now that we went ahead and spread the sweetened condensed milk over the top layer of the cake, take your leftover sweetened coconut and just drizzle some right over the cake. You can put strawberries on top of this cake. You could add strawberries in the cake, any type of fruit you like, actually. This cake goes well with a lot of different types of fruit. This is the way I wanted to do it. I love the pineapple flavor in this cake. It really does give it a great flavor, so I recommend you guys trying it exactly like the way I did it today. So, that looks good right there. You don't really need to add too much, just for decorating a little bit of flavor. And here we have it. Today's Leches cake for my birthday, and I really can't wait to try it. So let me go ahead and get everything prepared, and I'll serve this wonderful cake, and we'll go from there. All right, I'm going to go ahead and serve this delicious today's Leches cake. And my family did already go ahead and say happy birthday for me. So now that that's taken care of, I'm going to cut my first slice of cake, just so you guys could see how it came out. Very sticky, very moist. Beautiful. With some pineapple there. Add it right in the middle. And there goes our today's Leches. It is very moist, very good cake. I'm going to take a little piece here and give it a little try. I just love it. This cake is great. The taste of the coconut, with the pineapples, the caramelized condensed milk gives it all that added flavor. You should definitely try this cake. Great for the holidays, great for your birthday, anything, any occasion. This is a wonderful dessert. So please subscribe to my channel. Definitely send any recipe requests you would like to see me do. They don't need to necessarily be Portuguese. I will try anything out. Let me know how you enjoy the cake if you do try this recipe at home. And that's it. So I will catch you guys on the next episode. Thank you.